Yo, what is going on? PartTimerZack here. In today's video, I wanted to kind of dedicate this video to explaining this game mode right here. So this is kind of one of those things where you can kind of go through a couple different things. You can see skirmishes, random events, some different things that kind of give you a different little path, as you can see, depending on your situation and your circumstances and the choices that you make. So I already went ahead and went through one of the stages and went through all the boss and stuff like that, so I could give you guys a better idea of what to kind of expect going into it. So the first thing, there's a lot of information kind of on the screen, as you can see. You got effects, event missions, all kinds of different circles here, and you have checked theme constructs. So the first and foremost, you have 5 attempts essentially every single day. So that means you can do 5 of these couple of random events throughout the day, and there is kind of 5 zones to kind of go through. So once you get all the way to the boss, you reset back at stage 1 and you do it all over again for 5 of the zones, and you can do up to 16 locations, meaning that you have kind of a set path. Once you kind of start deviating, that you cannot go backwards. And then there's a couple other pieces of information, like the daily resets are going to be every single day. So you have 5 attempts every day, and your constructs also keep their health throughout the day, but they reset daily as well. So you don't have to really worry too much about like having super low HP. If you're kind of in a spot where all of your constructs have really low HP, you can just wait till the next day, and then they regain their XP. So talking about this right here, this is essentially stuff that you get towards yourself, so buffs and whatnot, and you have to use certain constructs. So you can see that each time you use one of the constructs, you do get a point towards those buffs that help you out. You can see that this will also change each and every day, resets 13 hours. So every day you have kind of an idea of who to use and why to use them, essentially, and giving you a little bit more of a diversity. If you want to, you can kind of blow past this if you don't really want to worry about the buffs, but they do help out quite a bit. So I do recommend kind of grabbing them. Support attained attempts are going to be something that you kind of get as a random occurrence, and they're going to be people that you can add into your teams. We'll talk about that once we actually jump onto it. And then you can get effects. So if you jump on here, and you can see that it actually costs 10 stamina, but we do get some of the supply, and then you get cogs and this currency right here. So this currency is actually going to help you out because you do have certain stations where you can spend that currency, and you can also click on the support terminal and you can buy outright for certain buffs and stuff like that, as you can see. And then event missions is going to be something that you kind of get periodically as you're kind of running through these, you know, gain 5 bonuses, just stuff that you're going to be kind of working on, clearing 16 locations and whatnot. So let's go ahead and jump on this first one. We're going to go ahead and spend the 10 stamina. Here I can choose whoever I want. I do remember Ayla being one of them, Alpha being another one. So we'll just kind of put him in here to give me a little bit of an advantage. And then honestly, I'm just going to use Watanabe, even though he wasn't one of the units. I think it will help out quite a bit. And then we're going to go ahead and click start. So these are going to be pretty standard when it comes to the skirmishes. They're basically going to be what you'd expect from a normal stage, where you just kind of jump in here and you're looking to kind of go through some progress. So you will see off here to the left, it does say 1 out of 3, meaning that I need to do 3 waves. Essentially, that's just giving me an idea of how many waves I'm actually going to have. Now, keep a note here that we do want to pay attention to our HP, mainly because the HP that we have will take on to the next stage. So if we get beat up pretty bad on one of the stages, it is not going to be fun for us to have to try to go through the other stages, and we may end up having to wait until the next day for that reset if we don't plan carefully. But they are pretty easy at the beginning. I will say that it does progressively get harder as I've been kind of going through, especially if you're going on certain paths or certain multipliers and modifications and stuff like that. That do make it a little bit harder, and then once you get to your boss and stuff like that, obviously it's a little bit more difficult. But as you can see, we went ahead and gotten through it. We'll get some rewards here for being able to clear it. Let Ayla do her thing here, and then you can see that you actually get some rewards. So not as much currency as just going through the stages. So that's going to be kind of a zonk a little bit, but you do get EXP, and then you do get supply tickets, or the supplies for the actual runs here, and then you get cogs. Now, the kind of big thing is going to be these missions here. You can see that you actually get quite a bit of stuff from going through here. And so it is kind of like one of those things, like you might as well go through it, especially when you're getting some of these magnetic tickets which you can take and essentially run those memory stages, and then you get some memory shards and stuff like that. So it is kind of worth your while to kind of go in here, especially if you're just kind of running through the event missions, which is weird that they spelled event, but it's but it's okay. So now we have a choice. Do we want to go through another skirmish, which is essentially the same thing that we just went, or do we want to do a random event? For the sake of this video, let's do random event. Let's see what this has got. So the sandstorm is coming at you. Think of a solution before it's too late. Stand firm, go for broke, seek shelter. You know what? We're going to go for broke. Why not? Let's see what happens. So you managed to get through the sandstorm. Now you know how to survive in it. So we got energy recycling 1. So I got a new effect. What does that effect do? Gains 10% more energy when pinging orbs, HP, and attack increased by 5%. Great. So now when I go into my next skirmish, I will have that boost. I will get a little bit of a buff there because I'm able to do it. So we're going to go through this just like we normally would. And this is going to be kind of standard here, 1 out of 3. So I know that I have 3 waves. And then you can see that I actually have a variety of different enemies. Like, it's not just the same stuff regurgitated. There is quite a bit of stuff and flexibility to the stages and stuff like that who we're fighting. So we're going to go ahead. And I know a lot of you guys are wondering probably why I'm using Ayla instead of my Alpha as my main DPS. And that is because my Ayla is a lot stronger because we leveled her up for her kind of showcase. And this account does not have my like Prime Alpha on it. So that's just kind of why. In case anybody's like, why are you using your tank physical damage as your main DPS? She has a lot of stuff on her. So she is quite strong and definitely more than capable of doing what I need her to do, essentially. So we're going to go ahead, go through here and get all this stuff done. There's a couple things that I want to show you guys. So hopefully we're able to get into it. Like, whenever you pick up random comrades, you can essentially swap off. It's essentially a second team is what you can kind of think of it as. So you get to a point where maybe your main team is kind of getting dogged on, and you can use these recruits essentially as kind of a one-time thing. So instead of using your main team, you use that secondary team from kind of comrades that you've picked up throughout your journey, and you can use them once. Once you've used that team, though, it does reset and it goes away. So you kind of have to worry about how to use them. You don't want to just kind of use them as you're going. I'm going to go ahead and play a little bit, and I'm just going to kind of grab some of these random events to kind of showcase you guys. So we'll be back here in a couple seconds. Okay, so at some point you end up getting to a tactical supply, which is essentially what this is. So you can see that my Ayla is pretty low. The bar here is indicating how much health they have. You can see the Alpha and Watanabe have full health, and my Ayla is pretty low. So I probably will end up swapping out Watanabe for Ayla just to give her a break. But we're going to go in here and we're going to kind of talk about what we can do with these points. So I have 130 points, and you can see that some of this stuff helps with blue orbs. You know, some of the other stuff helps out with just kind of giving you a buff in general, like lightning, ice, fire, dark damage. And then you can see that we actually get random support. So just for the sake of this, normally I'd probably use the 90 on something that could help me out, especially if I have like Bianca or something for lightning damage. But for the sake of this, I'm going to grab 3 of these guys just to kind of show you what can happen whenever you grab these. We're just going to get 3 of them. And then we're going to go ahead and use this on nothing else because we don't have anything else. And then we're going to go ahead and leave it. Yes, we want to leave. So whenever you leave, you can't come back. Essentially, you're moving on. Now, you can see that I have a second team here. I even have Bianca, and I have some characters that I don't even have on the account right now. So I'm going to go into Elite just to kind of show it. I do have a random event here, but it's not really going to give me anything that I want to show in this video because the main thing I wanted to show is the second constructs here. So I'm going to go in here. So you can see I have my main team here. Ayla's really weak. You know, let's just say that all my team's pretty weak. I don't want to use the rest of them. I'm going to go to support formation, and I'm going to be able to use these characters right here, which is just stuff that I've gathered, as you can see, when I did that tactical thing and I bought them from the shop. There are other ways to get them. You don't always have to buy them with that supply currency. You can get them from various ways. And you can also see that you can use units that you don't necessarily have unlocked, which is also cool as well. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to grind through here. I have not played Bianca before, so I'm not 100% sure, if I'm being honest, what her stuff is. I'm getting zapped by this thing. That's all I know. I'm actually going to pause it real quick. So it's red, red, blue. Got it. Just so I can get an idea of what she likes to use. Red, red, blue. So red, red, blue. Okay. And then I'm in this mode. So obviously we're going to be showcasing her and kind of the limelight whenever we actually do our video. But I guess this is just going to be kind of a sneak peek in case you guys wanted to kind of see that. Here it is. Then we're going to use her ult because why not? Kill these guys. We use our red, use our blue. We'll go into sniper mode, and we're going to go ahead and finish it. So the main thing that I wanted to show you guys is, yes, you can use a support foundation or formation rather, and then you can use these other characters. They are pretty strong. As you can see, I had no difficulty kind of running through it, but now they're gone. You can see that I cannot no longer use them, or I can no longer use them. I don't know why I said it that way. Okay, we're going to go ahead and click this. We got another buff. It looks like we got some extra bonus damage for each pinged orb pinged, and then we got some more event currency here. So this is kind of the main thing, is just kind of running through here. There are different things like this one, for example, where you can rest and kind of heal all your enemies, prep for enhances and bonuses you have, or leave quickly. I'm going to go ahead and prep because even though my unit is kind of low, I have other units to kind of help out. And what this essentially is going to do is give me a bonus. So on top of this one, it's going to kind of level this one up to do a little bit more for me. So as you can see, it went from 10 to 20%, and it's going to help out quite a bit. And then we're just going to go through the scrimmages. So essentially you have about 5 of these a day that you can kind of go through. And as you can see, there's quite a bit to kind of go through, and then you can get to a boss. So it is pretty like straightforward, but I just wanted to kind of showcase it in case you guys are confused. And your health and your attempts reset daily. So that's just something to keep in mind. So one of the things is, if you are using support units, I would kind of use them if you're on the back burner. Essentially, maybe you have another attempt and you're too weak essentially for all your units. I have not gotten to that point yet, but I am also playing on this account. It's a little buffer than my own account. So just take that with a grain of salt as you kind of go through here. It is kind of worth it, even though it is 10 stamina. You're basically using 50 stamina a day, and you are getting event tickets and stuff like that for your actual currency. It is a little bit lower. It's like 30 per stage. You are also getting event stuff, you know, some different things, and kind of working towards a lot of stuff that's really going to help out quite a bit. So anyway, I do recommend kind of jumping on this, even if it's for the first time, because once you go through it, you can't go through it again. So essentially, once it's kind of a one and done thing, but there are quite a bit of stages. You might as well work through it as you're kind of going. So anyway, guys, I'm going to go ahead and leave it there. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. I will see you in the next one. Have a good rest of your night, guys. Peace.